They are, without a doubt, the two greatest drivers Formula One has ever seen. In 2020, Lewis Hamilton won his 7th Drivers' Championship, equaling the record set by one Michael Schumacher. While Hamilton surpassed Schumacher's record of 91 Grand Prix victories in 2020, the fact is the two drivers only raced each other between 2010 and 2012, when Schumacher came out of and then went back into retirement. In doing so, making way for Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. But the question remains, who is the greatest driver of all time? Let's take a look as we put Lewis Hamilton and Michael Schumacher head to head. Let's start with the basics. Schumacher and Hamilton have 7 world championships, but Michael Schumacher has 91 Grand Prix victories, 155 podiums, and 68 pole positions. Lewis Hamilton secured his 7 titles with 95 Grand Prix victories, 165 podiums, and 98 pole positions. But let's delve in a little deeper. We could compare their career points totals, but that wouldn't be totally fair. The record books will state that Michael Schumacher scored a whopping 1,566 points, but that pales into insignificance when compared to Hamilton's total of nearly 4,000 points. But the problem with this is scoring systems in F1 have changed throughout its history. Between 91 and 2005, when Schumacher was most active, 10 points were awarded to the winner, 6 to second, 4 to third, and so on, with no points handed out from 7th to 10th. But in 2021, 25 points are awarded to the winner, plus a point for the fastest lap. So let's put this into context. If Hamilton and Schumacher's results were scored based on the old 1991 system, this is how they shape up. Hamilton's score of 1,417 points averages out at 5.3 points per race. That's the equivalent of finishing between 2nd and 3rd in every race. Schumacher's score of 1,335 puts him at an average of 4.4. That's closer to finishing 3rd in every race. But let's flip this around to the 2021 scoring system, which includes a point for fastest lap as well. Hamilton is still out in front with 4,172 points. That's an average of 15.6 points. That's the amount you'd score for finishing 3rd in every single race. Schumacher would have 3,967 points. That's an average of 13 points per race, so a little higher than finishing 4th in every race. So points wise, it looks like Hamilton stacks up well. But what about qualifying? We've looked at the number of pole positions already. Schumacher had 68, while Hamilton scored 98 before the start of the 21 season. Let's dive in a little bit deeper. We can look at the margin by which they scored their pole positions. On average, Lewis Hamilton takes pole by 0.277 seconds. His closest battle was in Singapore 2014 when he took pole position by 7 thousandths of a second. His largest margin was at a wet Styrian Grand Prix in 2020 when he was a whole 1.2 seconds quicker than Max Verstappen. For Schumacher, on average he took pole by 0.308 seconds. His closest qualifying battle was in Imola in 1995 when he took pole from Gerhard Berger by 8 thousandths of a second. His biggest margin was 9/10ths of a second over teammate Eddie Irvine at Sepang in 1999. So there's about 300ths of a second between the two legends. But what does this tell us? Well, on the face of it, it could tell us that Schumacher was faster on a Saturday than Hamilton when collecting pole, but we should factor in how the cars have changed over the years. And the fact that Hamilton is slightly closer to his rivals means that you could say he sets his record against a more competitive field. So how could we balance out the difference in performance? Well, they say your number one driver is your teammate. They have the same tools at their disposal, and so they're the first car you need to beat. Over the years, Schumacher's teammates have included Martin Brundle, Riccardo Patrese, Johnny Herbert, Rubens Barrichello, and Felipe Massa. While Lewis Hamilton has raced with Fernando Alonso, Heikki Kovalainen, Jenson Button, Nico Rosberg, and Valtteri Bottas. We're going to look at the finishing positions of these drivers in the championship and compare the two to their teammates. But a side note here, we're omitting the 1994 season when Schumacher had 3 teammates, and 1999 where he missed a large part of the season with a broken leg. But we're going to include his disqualified 1997 as he scored enough points for a second place finish. In that case, Schumacher on average has finished 3rd in the Drivers' Championship, with his teammates averaging a 5th place finish. Hamilton, on the other hand, averages a higher finish in the championship with 2nd compared to his teammates' 4th place. We've done some rounding here for ease, but if we delve a little deeper, Schumacher beats his teammates by an average of 2 positions compared to Hamilton's 1.7 position difference. So there's 2 takeaways here. In the seasons where they haven't won, Lewis has a better track record as he has the highest average position, but Schumacher very slightly outperforms his colleagues in the same machinery. So, what does this all mean? Well, not a lot really. Thanks for watching. But really, the fact that we've spent the last 5 minutes splitting hairs between the two to see who the fastest driver goes to prove that there's really nothing in it. Both drivers have dominated eras of the sport and become record setters, trailblazers for Formula 1. And while we could talk until the cows come home about who is truly the best driver we've ever seen, it doesn't really matter. They both have their trophies and their achievements, and maybe we should be keeping an eye on those who might be next in line to join the party.